You're listening to the Blacktop Banter podcast, the premier podcast in the asphalt industry, made for contractors with contractors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Blacktop Banter. We're getting started on this one about after 10 minutes of shooting the shit. So be prepared. Been good getting to know our guest today. And man, I'm really excited about this one because if I could count on my hands the top 10 social media, I would say influencers, but I would say presences, Prestige Sealcoating and Adam Piché is right up there. So very excited. We've tried to get this one going for a little bit, and it's nice to finally get together and be able to pull it off. All right, man. I introduced you. You introduce yourself and let us know where you're at, what you all do, and we'll go from there, bud.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, Adam Piché, Prestige Sealcoating. For you those that don't know us or don't follow us on social media, my brother started a seal coating company 23 years ago out of my parents' house. We were out of the garage. We parked the truck out front. Luckily, the neighbors were cool with it at the time. And that was like the humble beginnings. My mom was in the office. She's still in the office to this day. It's a very family on hands organization. We're not a huge company in numbers, but we do a lot of volume, and we do it very well. We push hard every season, from April to November, and it's been a really good time, man.
Dude, it's awesome. If people are like, I don't know Prestige. If I say the black and green seal coating trucks, the cab overs, and everything you see on it, they're like, oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like,
it was funny because the green was totally my brother's idea. Our trucks were black and white in the beginning. And it was like the 11th, 12th or 13th year in, he was like, dude, I want to paint the trucks. And I'm like, oh man, everybody's known us as this black and white truck. But like every truck you buy, chances are it's either going to come in like black, white, or red. So like there were other seal coating companies that were also black and were also white. And he's like, dude, he was between like three colors. He was between like the M3 blue, because he's a car guy, this like that Skittles Hawaiian blue color. Yeah. He was between back then that the Corvette, I believe, was coming in like that copper color. It was a huge color then. Or it was the green. And luckily he chose the green, and it's been the greatest thing. We're out of a town called East Greenbush, so you can tie in with that. And, green means go. Like, it's green is you can't see green without thinking creativity. I think that's what they say. And it's it was one of the best branding things I think we had ever done, and that was all him. It's tough keeping them clean. That's the frustrating part, but we respray them every few years, or try to at least. And those trucks are awesome. They look great.
Ours we have like a splatter seal coat on it, and we respray that every few days because the guys don't give a shit, dude. It just gets everywhere, and we keep it mixed up. Yeah. We wait till the end of the year to clean that off.
Oh, absolutely.
We just go after it. Talking about the green, we just did the Blacktop Banter KM event. And we were riding over, and I mean, I'm sure this is against the law, but I watch movies, but I don't necessarily watch them. Like, I'll throw them on the screen, and my eye will go there, and then I'll keep focused. But we watched Meet the Parents. You remember that one?
Okay.
With De Niro. Absolutely. And Greg Fokker pulls up, and it's a rental, and he's like, no, he just pulls up in the car, right? And he's like, that's my De Niro face. Pretty good, right?
That wasn't bad. That's pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Thanks, man.
Like that.
So De Niro was like, hey, Greg, interesting car choice. Like, did you choose the color? And he's like, nah, the guy at the dealership did. He's like, oh, because geniuses choose green. But you didn't choose the color, did you? Right? And it was like, damn. Like, that was the entry. So when you were saying that, it reminded me of that. Like, oh, yeah, cool. But it's iconic, dude. Your guys' content, just when you stand in front of the trucks, we know it's you, we know it's Prestige, and we know that we're going to see some quality content. I really enjoy watching what you guys do.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. I mean, I honestly, I wish I could do more with the social media, but our schedule is just so fast paced, and it's so crazy that I feel guilty if I pull my phone out and I take a pic or I shoot a video, because, dude, it's literally like every minute's calculated for. And if I'm doing that, I'm obviously not doing something else. I'm not cutting in. I'm not moving a vehicle. I'm not pouring a bucket of sealer where it's needed. So my time is limited with what I can capture. So I do the best I can. Is our stuff always going to go viral? No. Like, and I don't care. I've had a few viral videos here and there on different apps, but yeah, I just like to keep the people informed, to show people that, hey, we're still out here. We're still doing really good work.
Yeah, man.
We still care. Like, it's that simple. Like, that's all I'm trying to do. And some stuff takes off. And honestly, it got a lot bigger than I ever really thought it would. Like, guys message us from all over the world. I know you get the same thing, and it's crazy. Like, I have guys asking me for advice over in Ireland and like Scotland, because one of our Facebook videos went crazy, organically viral, did like 22 million views. I don't really know how. It was nuts. And since then, like, I got guys all over the country like asking for advice, and Instagram, like, guys in Canada love us. And so, like, I'm giving advice out there in the West Coast. But no, it's really cool. It's a very tight knit community, because I know you can relate to this one. In the beginning, when you're this passionate about something that most people look at and go, oh my God, why would you ever want to do that for a living? Like, why you get dirty? Like, why would you ever want to do that stuff? So you feel out of place. And like, to get this excited and this worked up, like, I could talk asphalt, talk to guys like you all day around the clock, like not sleep for a week, because we've all been there. We can relate. But like, you got to understand, like 90% of your friends, they hate their job. They hate their career. Like, they hate it. So they can't relate, because they don't know what it's like to walk out the door and be excited. Like, personally, and like, I love my family, my friends, my wife, but like, dude, I could work 7 days a week and be happy. Like, dude, I love it, because I'm free out there. My brain can turn off and I can just focus my body. I can run all the energy out. Like, I got to drain this battery every day, man. I can't lay in bed and have any of this left over, dude, because I'll be staring at the ceiling like, should I just go to the yard? Like, I could get some stuff done, be ahead of tomorrow. Like, and that's the reality of it, man. So it's cool to be able to get on social media and talk to guys who understand where you're at mentally and like what it takes. And it's so rare to be able to do that, because, like I said, a lot of people just, one, aren't happy, and two, they're certainly not happy with what they do for a living. So when you meet people that love what they do and they happen to do the same thing as you, like, dude, that's an awesome feeling to be able to relate.
It makes it fun. To me, creating the content helps me escape the mundane aspects of what we do. I know every job's different. We get to work outside, but eventually you're filling buckets, you're filling cracks, you're seal coating. You're going to the next one. You're cleaning it, you're filling buckets, you're filling cracks, you're seal coating. And it does get mundane. There's times where jobs will get you excited, or we break it up with different variations and whatnot. But to be honest with you, when I started sharing, it was so that I wasn't alone out in the field. Like I wanted to connect with people, and it makes my job fun being able to interact with my community, the asphalt industry. At first, it was just to kind of create content for my business. But then when my business started doing well, then all of a sudden I realized I was creating content for our community, because that's who was interacting the most with me. It wasn't necessarily potential customers. And that's really what made doing it exciting for me. So the other byproduct of that was I'm a really good seal coater, right? I don't know necessarily I'm the best. I don't know how we gauge that until we do the Blacktop Banter Seal Coat Olympics, which hopefully is coming 2025, where we bring that together and we try to get the best people out there crack fill, and we will judge, right? They crack filled the fastest, it's covered, and it's filled flush. Same thing with seal coating. So it'll be timed. You get to cut in and seal coat 100 square feet. Whoever can do it the fastest, complete, not puddled, looks great. We'll do that. But, that's cool. But I'm really, really good. And this fits. I'm really, really good at this. And it fits my natural capabilities of what I like to do and what I do really, really well, which is communicate really well, have cool conversations. And then I do the big brain stuff too, like the big ideas, like I mentioned the KM BB event. I was supposed to go pick up our Blacktop Banter rig. I built a whole entire event around that. Executed it, got speakers, got KM to jump on board, and that's what I'm good at. And I would have never known that if I would have just been seal coating every day and only seal coating. So to see you guys create content and then watch you purposefully start to create content, not just, hey, capture the job, call Prestige, capture the job, call Prestige. But you start to turn the camera around. You guys start to use tactful, hey, I want to put out a piece of content about this. That's when things start to change, right? And then all of a sudden, our industry starts getting sexy shots, right? And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, shit, we got to get sexy shots with ours too. Next thing you know, you're like, I don't know how a video went viral. I
Yeah.
do. It appealed to absolutely everything that you and I like. And
Yeah.
the chances of that resonating with the rest of the world then are pretty high, right? People like so satisfying videos. Like you've seen the one, our TikTok one of the cold pour crack filler,
Dude,
where it's like gets a
people,
glop, gets a glop,
people
gets a
love
glop. That ain't even
it. Love
ours. That's somebody else's.
it.
But through our avenue, that thing got 20 million views.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's satisfying and they want to see it. It's
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
to them. To us,
Because
it's
if you don't,
completely
yeah.
uninteresting. But to them, they're like,
Yeah.
whoa, you know?
Yeah. Because if you've never seen it, your first thing is, what is it? I want to know what
Yeah.
that is. What
They
am I?
said dog shit. They said dog
Yeah,
shit in
because
the comments.
that video did. It looked like a mound of it. It looked like a dog went to Taco Bell for like a bender on a
Yep.
weekend.
Cheap,
And just
cheap
nonstop.
materials. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's get to it, man. Great intro to conversation.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
I want to know about Adam Piché. I know you're going to want to talk about Prestige. I'm going to want to talk about Adam. Tell us about growing up, you and your brother, where you guys grew up, what mom and dad did, like what were their businesses. I know you said your mom's in the business now. How did you guys get? What was it like growing up for you all first, and then I'll ask the
So
next question.
yeah, absolutely. So we had a great childhood. You know, when you just say simply we had an '80s childhood, like, dude,
Oh, cool.
we don't relate. Now, people who can't relate, this generation,
That's cool. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good
it's like,
stuff.
oh,
It's
yeah.
good stuff. But dude, we were outside 24/7. Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, video games were a huge part. Like once Nintendo and Super Nintendo. But like, dude,
Which
we were
one did you play? Legend of Zelda and shit back like
bro,
on the big
Zelda
square
first.
gray one?
Dude, yes. I used to give
Yeah.
my brother's buddies.
You had
They
to
would call the house. Yeah,
right?
dude.
Hit the
You got
button.
just a white screen. You had to pop it back out. You're like, dude, you slammed the lid a couple of
I
times,
know.
dude. My brother's buddies used to call me for advice. They'd be like, Elvis, because they used to call me Elvis with the hair and whatnot. They'd be like,
Yep.
Elvis. They'd be like, I'm stuck here. And like, with just them telling me where they were, I could walk them through it. I'm like, dude, this is what you got to do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, they built businesses off of that.
Oh,
When
no,
I
they
was
definitely
young playing Final Fantasy, I would call the hotline. Hey, I'm
bro.
on level 8. Dude, what
Bro.
a genius. What a
So,
genius friggin' business to start.
Are you really, were you a Final Fantasy guy?
I only played one, Final Fantasy 3.
Okay. Bro, I used to
Yep.
love them. I don't have the time anymore. Those role playing games are so in depth now.
Oh, they'll
But,
take
like,
you.
dude, what? Oh, bro, they'll take your life away before you know it. It's January.
I played
You're like,
Fallout. Like Fallout was like the last one I played, and dude, I would lose my life in it, and was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore.
No, you can't. Dude, my
So
buddies
what was it like then? Video games? You guys went outside and played, and
we were huge into sports. My basketball was my life for a long time. My brother was really, really good at basketball. He got my dad's genetics, so I'm 5'8" according to my license. I think the lady that measured me when I had to retake the photo was very generous. Despite my hair, I might have cheated a little bit. I was up on my tippy toes. I think my old ID said 5'7", but my brother's maybe 5'10", 5'11". But dude, he could dunk a basketball. Like,
get out.
He could. Back then, he could. He was really, really good. He just didn't care for organized sports. He just really didn't. Like, he would play, but he's like, yeah, dude, I don't want to show up to your practice. I don't want to listen to you yell at me. I don't want to run laps. Like, he would absolutely take your starting guy's position and just embarrass him. Like, he could play. And I was good. I was good. I understood the game. I didn't have the physical presence. Like, dude, I'm telling you, all the way up until like high school, I was probably like, I'm 140 pounds now, 145. That's where I like to be. But dude, in like high school, I was maybe like 5'4", 5'5", like 110, 20 pounds wet. Like, if I had the mindset and the work ethic that I had, but in a different body, dude, I could have been really good. But by the time high school came around, there was like 6 or 7 kids that I had played with growing up. And then a few more kids came to the area. There was like 10 of us trying out for 3-4 positions to be a point guard. And there was kids that were way better than me. They worked harder at it. They were better, but dude, we were all just really short. Columbia was a short team back then for the most part. But dude, it was just sports, riding bikes, being in the woods, hanging out. Like, dude, just football, basketball, baseball games. We grew up in a great neighborhood where there was a ton of kids that were all our age. And dude, we were all into sports. So like pickup games, like, dude, you could get a full baseball game going, like a full football game going. And dude, it was a great time to be alive. You just left the house, dude. Your parents had no idea. You were just like, we're going. We used to ride our bikes up through the neighborhood. We could go through these power lines. It was maybe like a 10, 15-minute ride. You could be all the way down There'd be a funplex that had go-kart stuff, basketball. Dude, McDonald's was there. It was like the hopping place to be. It was funplex back in the day. And dude, it was a great childhood. Like it really
What about
was.
school? What interested you in school? Like what were your featured interests?
I was a really good student naturally. I always did very well in school, probably up until high school. I got a little sidetracked, but yeah, no, I liked science. I liked math early on. And then math just got crazy as you got older because you started growing up and you were like, dude, I'm probably never going to use any of this.
Yes.
Like I'm just not. So it got to the point where you were like, why? Like I remember I did so well. I ended up in Spanish 4-H honors, and because back then New York was like a Regents diploma was a big thing. It just meant you took extra credits, but like it meant nothing outside of New York State. But like they made it this big thing. And dude, I remember being in Spanish 4-H honors, and I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. And it was senior year, so I got rid of that. And I was like, but no, I love school. I like seeing my friends. I like the social aspect of school, but schoolwork got boring, got old after a while. Like,
did you go on to like higher education or anything?
I did. I went to Hudson Valley's a great community college near us. I did one semester there. I believe I was on Dean's List, had a 4.0, but it was like the 13th grade. Dude, it was English, social. I took a music class. It was so boring because like I had no direction, and I'm glad I went there because back then semesters were, I want to say with books, like it was $3,500, and like had I gone on with further schooling, dude, now schooling's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You're coming out $100,000, $200,000 in debt, but nobody's hiring. Nobody's hiring for your political science major. Like I know.
I would have went for philosophy, dude. Could you imagine? I'd been screwed, bro. Bad.
I grew up, my parents, there was always music playing in the household. I was going to go for music. I really enjoy singing. I always have. My mom is really good. She still is. My dad had a great voice back in the day, but like I didn't know a lot about the actual sheet music part of it. So like, I'm glad I never went because dude, one, what was I going to do with it? Like ideally I would have loved to have just worked in a studio on the production side. Cause there's so much magic that happens behind there. And I did an internship with high school. There's actually a really good studio in our area. And he was a Columbia graduate, from our high school, and it was Highland Studios or Highland Records. And he's actually put out a lot of big stuff. And I did an internship there, and it was cool, but like realistically, where were you going to go with that? Like realistically, like what were the odds that I was going to do something that amazing it's just, it isn't. You could say, I just wasn't. Maybe if I gave in all the effort.
What did your mom and dad do?
So Adam? My mom worked in banking and that type of stuff, and my dad worked for the state, for New York State, in the Department of Child Labor, whatever they call it, something.
Yeah, pretty much everything. That pretty much is every seal coater's worst nightmare that has kids, right? Because it's like every seal coater has like had their kid as soon as they could hold anything beyond the job.
Dude,
pack your lunch, kid. You're going. Yeah. I mean, look at Eli. If Eli could drive, he'd run it, right? And that's because we did a radio station once before I did Blacktop Banter, and that guy ended up actually becoming one of my mentors when I started doing broadcasting and stuff. But we were on the back lot, and I had somebody who was supposed to come help me, and they didn't. So I get Eli. He's like 6, right? And I'm like, dude, you're just going to pull the hose today. That's all I need you to do. Keep it out of my feet. It's like, all right. So we get doing it. It's this huge lot, just him and I. He starts carrying buckets and stuff. Like, he can't just sit still, right? He's got ADD. He's like, I just can't do it. Not diagnosed, but I know he does, right? So it's like, okay, here we go. And the owner comes out, and he's like, call Child Protective Services. He's like, this has to be breaking child labor laws. And I was like, he's my son, though. And they're like, yeah, we know. You can't be paying a kid to do this. I'm like, I'm not paying him. And he was like, oh, well, I'm trying to pull your leg, and it's not going really well. I was like, oh, shoot. His name's Ron Fruit. Yeah, his name's Ron Fruit, man. He did one of the very first Wisco Wednesdays with me and stuff. But that thought does go through people's brains.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we had the guys from Piedmont Paving on, and they were telling us like that happened to them, and their dad, like, who was running the paper, he's like, I'm trying to create somebody that you don't have to pay taxes to support. He's like, that's what I'm doing, and I'm trying to get him to where he can pay taxes to pay your guys a salary.
It's the truth.
Right? So I mean, it's always that perspective. But yeah, no, it is a no, because there is issues with it for sure. So
absolutely.
very cool to know that that's where you all came from. How did you guys get into the industry though? Like how did that snowball?
So my brother and one of his buddies worked for a company out in Western New York, and I think it was like Rochester, Syracuse type area. So they worked 2 summers, I believe, working for this other guy, really big operation out there. And then they
only doing maintenance or doing paving and stuff too?
No, just doing the asphalt maintenance, just the seal coating, the crack filling, residential and commercial. And then they came back here and started up. And then his buddy went on to paving. He owns a paving company to this day. And my brother stayed with the seal coating, kept the seal coating going. And then I kind of jumped on board. I used to help out when I was.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you help out first and then be like, I think I'd be down for trying some of this stuff?
I never thought in a million years, like 23 years, it would be a career that I love. No, because in the very beginning, if one of his buddies couldn't make it, called in sick or whatever it was, because they were early 20s.
What were you doing? What were you doing that you were available all the time?
Well, it's summers. So, summers and then late afternoons, you're available. Yeah.
Not really. Not if you have a job. Not if you have a career and a job. They make you work all year unless you're a teacher.
Yeah, no, dude. I was available.
You were loafing around. You were freaking loafing around.
Bro, I was still hooked on that Final Fantasy, man. I was there.
Yeah. I know where my brother is. We got to unplug him. Yeah, we got to unplug him.
We got to get him out there. I haven't seen daylight days. I was like, this. Oh my god, I can't see.
Unbelievable.
So I used to just fill in, man. And I didn't mind getting dirty. I had always done hard work. My first job, I've been working since I was 15. My dad used to bring me to Price Chopper. I was a cashier, and dude, back then starting wage was $2.15 an hour.
Dude, you're playing Final Seal Coating Fantasy right now. You're playing Final Seal Coating Fantasy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
The game never ended. They just pulled you out of there and put you into this one. You're still building HP, getting potions.
That's all I'm doing.
Now you're attacking. Your attack levels up from these jobs.
I'm looking to slay a new dragon every season, man. There's a bigger one out there.
Yep, you're trying to see who you can add to your party, right? You need somebody to do the defense and the healer. Like, dude, that's funny shit, dude.
A well-balanced server, man. Take on
God. So tell us about Prestige. What does it look like as far as like your guys' operations? We used to always go through equipment, but everyone's kind of got the same equipment, but you guys got a fair amount of trucks. It looks like you use cab overs quite a bit. But tell us about Prestige. You got 20 plus years field experience yourself, right, in the industry, but, tell us about the business in general.
Yeah. So like we started off, we have the cab overs now. When we first started, we only had the one truck. It was an 88 F350. Had a 300-gallon. Back then, equipment manufacturer was still around. They were making those poly tanks. They looked like a steel tank, but they were plastic. And we just had that. We had like one of everything, like one weed whacker, one blower, one shovel. And we would go out there, and because my brother had the 2 previous years' experience, we kind of already knew what we were doing in the field, which was a huge help. So like he was able to show some of his friends early on that were with the company that are now doing a bunch of different other stuff, but he was able to show me. I mean, let's be honest, seal coating's not rocket science. I'm getting really good at it. It is, but like at the end of the day, you're putting a liquid on the ground on the asphalt, hopefully only on the asphalt.
Yeah, but, if you can do it, you're in the top 80%. If you can really hone in on how to do it, you're in the top 98%.
So we mainly did small residential, well, not small driveways. We mainly did residential and small commercial stuff early on for a few years. And we would go out and do 5 driveways a day, 8 driveways a day. And then 8 became 10, 10 became 12, 12 became 14. And by the time we were starting to do 12 to 15 driveways a day was when we brought on 1 or 2 more guys, and we bought our first cab over, which we still have, which is that old square one. It's a 94 that pulls the melter. That's Old Faithful. We call her the Black Dragon because she used to be black. The 88 F350 was black.
You guys built off of that. Truck. That's like our white Dynapac that you see. That 04, that white Dynapac, dude. We can never get rid of it.
No, you have to, dude. I hate to say it, some of this older stuff, if it's been maintained and you know the history of it, is more reliable than some of this newer stuff.
I don't care. I'm not playing that game, dude. I'm not doing that game that they all do. I'm not getting a $100,000 truck when that thing does just the exact same.
No.
When we got that one, I had to finance it, and I only had like $1,500, and it was a $16,000 truck. So when we started, we were negative $14,000 once I got that truck, right? I had been doing the same level of shit. Like I had that same truck, that 88 Ford F350. I had the same one with a cargo bed on it, 300-gallon metal tank in the back. It was a John Deere implement truck. Mine was a six cylinder. It had the inline six, dude. It killed it to have that tank on the back of it. But it was ironclad. That sucker would not die. I ran with no oil, started in the middle of winter, and it'd go. I was like, oh, go. That must be it. It's going good. But I floated there until I got that truck. When I bit that truck off, it was like, oh shit, I'm in the hole. Before I'd never really been in the hole, but I didn't really have a whole lot, right? When that happened, that truck has generated over $1 million in revenue, right? On a $14,000 debt. It's generated millions of dollars in it literally is the key for you and I being able to speak here today. It was there. Last year, the motor got blown in it. Like, well, we'll junk it. I'm like, no, we're not. We're going to find a brand new motor. So that baby's got a brand new motor. If it goes another 20 years, it'll be like a 40-year-old truck. If I can make it, if I can go another 20 years, when that truck, quote unquote, gets retired, I'll redo the entire truck and I'll drive that truck until I'm done. It's going to stay with me forever, for sure.
Absolutely. It's awesome to have that. Like we said the same thing with the 94. We said, even if we don't pull the melter and we upgrade and pull with something else, we'll never get rid of that truck because honestly, whoever's going to buy it, more than likely there's a chance they throw a sealer tank on it. I don't need our old truck that I know runs great, like out working against us. So I'm like, dude, no matter what, we keep that truck. Whether we put like a giant billboard on it or we repaint it, put some wheel simulators
on it. That's your chocobo. That's your chocobo, buddy.
Dude, that's a chocobo. You just come in the morning, you stare at that. And sometimes it's nice to see just a really quick visualization of where you came from. So it's nice to see.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's
for sure, dude.
Like if you ever need motivation or you're having a shit day where you're like, oh my God, everything's going wrong. I don't have confidence. The voice in your head's telling you, bro, you're no good. Like this is going to work out. Just go back to bed. You can quickly look and go, oh my God, dude, that was us.
Remember. Yeah. I remember. And if I just need reliability, it's got it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if all I'm looking for is reliability, I can look over there and be like, oh, yep, that's reliable.
That's it.
So at least I got something reliable going on in my life.
You get back on track real quick, man. And it's it's awesome. I love the older trucks. Always have.
So you've been doing field work about 20 plus years. You guys have been running and operating a long time, right? So you've seen it all and went over it. What are some of the key things you've learned along the way, right? Because to get that kind of, you guys are doing it. You're in front of me. This is my 19th year. Next year will be my 20th year. You guys are in front of me as far as like Wisco as it's gone. I grew up doing it, off and on. So, been at it a lot longer, but, 20 years, man, like what are some of the key takeaways? Like, I don't want it to be like sage advice because we always save that for the end of the podcast always, but like, what are some of the key takeaways that have led to you guys being able to have that kind of sustained longevity?
I think a lot of it, man, is like, you got to get rid of the mindset. Like, I think in today's world, we mislead this next generation coming up. We try to make it sound like everything's going to be easy and everything's going to work out. Everything's going to go your way. And they've already been being told that by their teachers, their coaches. And so they're prepared for this world. Like, we were always realistic. And like, my brother was very realistic and blunt and straightforward. And like, dude, not every day was great. Not every day worked out. But like, if you just kept showing up and gave it your all, like as corny as that sounds, like literally if you just kept showing up, giving your best, and like eventually things will work out. And I know in the beginning you always feel like nothing's ever going your way and that you're never getting ahead, but like those little bitty drops, those little pieces, and someone will throw you that little bone and you're like, all right, man, we're getting somewhere. Like we made it in contact. Like we're slowly climbing up that ladder. Because dude, we were surrounded by a ton of second and third generation companies, like companies that had big trucks, did more paving than seal coating, but it could easily seal coat, had the ability, much nicer equipment than us, and could just come in and like, we just stayed with it, man, and stayed dedicated. And I knew deep down that like, if we went balls out 100% for a good 10-year run, like I won't say back then that we were going to be on top, but I knew we were going to be close. Like I knew, dude, we used to race people. And it was awesome because my brother learned a very fast way. Like, dude, the way I learned to cut in a house, like he would have he would take the inside corner. Like if you walk up and you're staring at a garage and like there's left, middle, right, he would take that inside corner because they're a little tougher. They take a little more time. And he'd be coming across the middle and like, I'm still playing in my corner. And dude, like he would come across and like bump into me and he'd be like, yo, I got this, man. He's like, moving too slow.
That's
He's
how
like,
I am, dude. Like when I get out there, dude, I'm the fastest. I'm the fastest trimmer that I've ever seen.
You have to be.
I'm not necessarily like high end on everything else, but I can guarantee you if you want to get it moving, put me in front of the garage, put me by the concrete, put me by all the complicated shit. I'll turn around and I've chewed up half of it. If there's 4 of us trimming out, I've chewed up half of it.
Yeah,
right? And everyone just like gives up, dude. They're like, shit.
Exactly.
I was like, dude, just get inside the little complicated shit for me. That way, when I get to you, I can just move. I can just blow by and we can keep going. But
and dude, and
it takes
so
a touch.
No, absolutely. And that's how I learned was that fast pace. And dude, we kept that fast pace and we haven't let up. Like, you know, everybody usually hits a plateau and they're like, dude, we're here. Like,
yeah, that 10 years turned into 20, bud.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, we haven't let up. So it's like, honestly, if it's crazy to know like the person I was and the things I was able to do, like that I'm doing today, I wouldn't have been able to do 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago because, dude, like your company's only going to go as far as you're willing to grow. Like you can't be like the company Wizcoat's going to be 5-10 years from now. You can't be the same person you are sitting here today. No, you have to continue. You have to continue. And a lot of these guys stall out and fail out and they're content. And it's like, dude, we keep pushing. And it's like, if you go out there, I don't care if you're just starting today and you're walking outside and you've got an old beat up truck, a plastic tote, one push broom, one weed whacker, dude, I'm telling you, if you give it 100% effort every single day and you make smart decisions and you don't buy a bunch of shit you don't need, I see a lot of these kids, you know, they want it all right away. They want the house, they want the cars, they want the great equipment. And dude, they're hundreds of thousands in debt or whatever it might be. And it's like, you put yourself in a place now you got to take every job. And it's like, but dude, take it nice and easy. You got to be aggressive, but patient at the same time.
That's good advice.
If you can find that balance of being aggressive when you're out there and going after it and wanting every piece of the work and taking it and doing great work, but knowing that, dude, you're not going to build a company like yours overnight. Right. You're not going to build Prestige overnight. You're not going to do either one of our companies in 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. Even with all the great people around you helping you and coaching you, it's still going to take time. Now, obviously, you can advance that timeline a lot, but like, dude, you got to go through the motions. You're still going to fail. And dude, we've failed. Everybody you've seen on social media that's as successful as they are, dude, the ones that are the most successful, they've failed thousands of times.
I was going to say, it's either two ways. One, you're getting lied to. Two, they have failed and rebuilt and failed and rebuilt and failed and rebuilt.
Like, I love to fail to an extent, but like, don't stay there long. Like literally, like
dude, just challenge yourself.
Yeah,
challenge yourself.
Right back to the drawing board. What went wrong? What did we do leading up to that point? What was the failure point, the breaking point? So let's rewind it. What can we do leading back up to that same situation? Let's just go a different route. You know, it's that
Let's give me another shot. Just give me another shot. Let's put me back in the game. Give me another shot.
That's it, man. That's it. Just give me one more
I'll figure out how to do it better this time. In my opinion, Dynapac CC900G roller is the best roller on the market for driveway and small parking lot paving contractors. The seismic technology in these rollers is unbeatable for the smoothness and compaction they provide. Take my word for it, or visit Dynapac.com to find a dealer near you.
Hey, Blacktop Banter fans, this is Michael with Aquafault. Aquafault is the only permanent repair material for asphalt and concrete that uses water. And installation is simple. Just pour, add water, and tamp. It's that easy. An Aquafault repair can be open to traffic immediately and fully sealed within 24 hours. Visit aquafault.com to learn more.
I work closely with KM International to design what I believe is the best seal coating unit on the market. The Blacktop Banter Edition seal coating unit, available in both 550 and 700 gallon versions. Learn more about the unit by visiting kminternational.com.
Quick startups, fume-free, automatic agitator shutoff, a splash-proof lid, and pumping on demand, these features are essential for any serious asphalt maintenance contractor. Elevate your game with the Crafco SuperShot line of melters by visiting crafco.com today.
Hi contractors, it's Kyla from Wizcoat. We use Stencil Plus for all of our pavement marking stencils. You can save 10% on your stencil order by using code BB10 during checkout at stencilplus.com or by calling 877-372-6055.
In the past year, Jobber has been our CRM of choice at Wiscode, and it's made our world exponentially better efficiency-wise. For our small seal coating company, it has helped build the solid foundation we can scale from. Jobber is now a sponsor of Blacktop Banter and helps bring this show to you. With this partnership, Jobber is offering an exclusive savings to BB listeners of 20% off for 6 months. To take advantage of this, find the Jobber link in the show description and get to improving your process today. What does the off season look like for you all? Do you do a lot of planning, and do you guys switch up softwares once in a while, bring on stuff? Like, do you scout for talent? Like, what maintenance, of course, but like, what do you guys do in off season?
It used to look a lot different. Early on, winters are tough, seasonal. It's a lot of stuff. Like you gotta do a lot of things. Like I used to work for a bunch of different contractors. At one point in time, I was working with a buddy of mine and his father. I was hanging drop ceilings, doing drywall, framing, and taping. Dude, back then it was $725 on the books. Like, bro, it was a lot of work for when you looked around what you did in an hour, and you're like, so that just got me $7, huh? You're like, this is sweet. So like, I worked for a bunch of different contractors, and I always liked the hands-on work. And we actually did the contracting work for ourselves for a few years. I made a page, Prestige Contracting, on Facebook, and there's some work on there. But we did that for 3 years. We've plowed snow. Like I did snow for 18 years. My brother did it for a long time. Now it's much more calmed down. We're to the point where like we're in a really good spot. So like, he's not plowing this winter for the first time in a long time.
Very good.
I'm not plowing, so I'm home doing. I have more time to be home. I'm taking on a lot more projects. I got to get some painting work going in this place. The house we're in, we've been here 6 years. It's from the 80s. Great house, but it's got stained trim. It's got the wallpaper border. So I got to go through a room at a time. But yeah, it's honestly just maintenance.
It's nice to get to that point because it'll free your mind up. What'll end up happening is you'll get a few weeks off, and you're like, okay, I have to figure out how I can work on something. And most of the time, it ends up being your business, right? So that's where that conferences is. That's what started me with the conferences. I finally got to a point where I didn't have to work in the winter, and I was like, well, shit, man, it's going to be frozen here for 6 months. Like, so I started looking at the conferences and like, I don't know. I just want to go look at equipment and be like, okay, well, actually what it was is I wanted to get into plowing, and I went to that GIE Expo to talk to a couple people about getting into it. And my whole life and the direction of everything changed when I did that, because I went there with a different mindset and came out of it leading here, right? Yeah. And sometimes you just got to – but if I would have had to work or been stuck here trying to create income, I would have never, ever been able to do that. So it's nice to get to that point. And then I'm excited to see it because you guys are thinking, oh, we get to chill, but your brains won't let you. I can already tell you're hype like all the time. So immediately you're going to be like, okay, we got it. Let's figure out this. Let's figure out how to do this or work on this. A lot of times what happens is guys will by default just start marketing themselves more, their business more. And then they've created a larger workload come the season by just doing that in the off season and stuff. So it's one of those things. What do you think, with you all, will we see you all this winter? Are you going to plan on going thing? You were talking about how you're 98% committed to the Blacktop Banter kickoff event at Pavex in San Antonio on January 29th at 6 p.m., where you can register now because it's open on Eventbrite, where we're going to have food, drinks, and maybe the most sought after networking ever within the asphalt industry. And we're giving away up to $10,000 in prizes to contractors that attend. Get there now.
I was going to ad lib. I was totally trying to be your hype man in the background. I was starting to hear bass kick in, dude. There was lights flashing.
There's going to be women in lederhosen with beer and people playing accordion and stuff, dude. That's going to be
in slow motion, dude.
Yeah, foam.
I've never been to a show.
Dude, you gotta go.
You're
kidding me.
I've never been to a show.
You guys gotta go and budget it. You have to go.
Usually, what prevented me from going is the season and the volume in which we do and the roles in which we all play. I'd usually be burned out. Yeah. And then now for the first time in a long time, like for the first 10 years.
Maybe ever.
For the first time in 10 years, I just focused on the business in my 30s, I'm 40 now. In my 30s, I focused on my life outside of the business and trying to find some sort of balance. So I'm finally in a really good spot.
You guys need write-offs. I know you need write-offs. So you did very, very well. You need write-offs. You have all the equipment you could ever want. You have old, reliable vehicles that are just fantastic, just like Wisco. Go ahead and write off a trip for you all. It's a business expense. Come down, hang out with us. They're doing live demos. You're going to see the Blacktop Banter event. Seal Coat rig will be there. KM's having it on the floor. Their booth is close to ours. We're going to have a 10 by 20 booth. I mean, dude, it literally, you're hyped already. Adam Piché's level is going to break out the top of thermometer. Like that stuff, dude, those, if I don't go to, I'm at, like, you see me, I'm consistent, right? Nonstop consistent, nonstop keep going. What keeps me going is doing an event every month or every couple months. And they've been stacked here lately. So like I'm hype, like with everything that we can do. But the events that are specifically designed for our industry and our large scale, like Pavex, World of Asphalt, that type of stuff, dude, it literally will carry you for at least 5 months. I usually get burned out at about the end of July, beginning of August, and just the hype from the events in February and March have kept me going to that point. It literally is exhaustion that finally stops me because I put together what I want to do, what I want to see at the event, what I want to show off. And when I go back, I want to talk to the people that have now followed and been part of my journey. And so that keeps me hyped for a long time. They literally have to peel me off the blacktop because I'm falling over dead. And then that's when I'm like, okay, now I focus on getting to the end of the season. But you have to come, dude. You have to.
I've talked to my wife because I can't travel alone. I'll end up in an airport. Like I said, I'll never make the flight. Like I'll be best friends with some
great group of women. We have a great group of women. There's the women of Asphalt. They're gonna be there. Women of Asphalt will be there. It'd be great to get connected and have improvement. We'll have them there.
She knows a lot, living with me. She knows more about asphalt and asphalt maintenance than most
she
women.
Probably cares too.
She's been dealing with me for, I don't know how long it's been, 13, 14 years. I think we've been together, but, it's one of those things, no person is successful by themselves. So like the reason I look as good as I do at 40 and I'm as healthy as I am at 40 is because, I have 20 years of it, man. There's no psoriasis here.
You're preserved.
There's no dandruff. There's no dandruff in this hair. Come on, dude. Look at that. Come on.
It got frozen in time because of coal tar. This is probably from coal tar. To be honest with you, this is probably from coal tar.
Bro, they got those LED hats now. I'm telling you, I've watched the videos.
There we go. That's what I should do.
It's a thing.
No, that's my defense mechanism. See that? No, I use the blind and then hit them with that. Boom, boom.
Dude, you hit them with that one, two. They don't even see it coming. You just gotta be facing east. Get with that dome, the quick.
Dude, we hope we get to see you all at Pavex, man. It'd be great.
I'm gonna see if we can make it work.
You're gonna commit. You're gonna commit for sure. For sure. Well, where can we find Prestige online, man?
So Prestige Sealcoating, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I haven't done anything on TikTok in a while, but we're everywhere.
LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn though. Adam's on LinkedIn.
I got a personal page on LinkedIn. The Prestige page is on there, but it's like, dude,
that's how Blacktop Banter is on there. It doesn't do very much, but my social page, my personal page, does fantastic on there.
It's what people don't understand is when you're doing it at the level we're doing it, unless you're hiring it out, subbing it out. Like I do all that social media, and dude, every time a new app comes up and people are like, it's going to be huge, it's going to take off immediately. I'm like, son of a bitch, man! I gotta do another app. Like
I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, dude. There's nothing else you can do. We read posts, we watched pictures. Now we're watching videos. What else couldn't we do to gather attention for people? And they're terrible. The marketers have ruined them. Like,
dude,
I hate it, dude. It's brutal. I make a post, dude. I make a post now, and a foreign person, a woman, a beautiful woman's understanding. I think your profile looked great. I think we have stuff in common. Reach out. And it's in the comment section. After my pastor commented, she commented below that, and I'm like, what in the hell? Why?
Your pastor's like, Marvin, I think we need to have a discussion.
Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to confess? You'd like to confess, Marvin? Yeah. No, but LinkedIn for me is where it's been at lately because it feels like 2008 Facebook and
Yeah,
it's fun, and it's like-minded people are on there. So that's what it'd be cool to
I
check you
made
out
a
there too.
LinkedIn personal page a while back, and I never really did anything with it. And then I set a goal, and I said, dude, I'm just going to get 500 connections on there, mostly local stuff, and then a lot of obviously seal coaters and pavers I interact with. And I did that, and I actually enjoy. I don't actually post a whole lot. I do here and there when the season's going because we've landed some work on there. You know, there's people on there that I don't even know how they see your stuff. Like there's a good organic reach there. Like, man, this guy's private,
and they're
customer.
winners. And they're winners. Like they're
absolutely.
they're winners on there.
Yeah, they're out there.
Anything you drum up is good on there. If you could give one overall piece of advice for anybody in the industry, seal coating side, what do you think that would be? Sounds like you're pretty consistent with goal setting and putting your head down and grinding. But what do you think it would be?
I think honestly, the big thing would be honest with yourself. You know, with the person you are now, the person you need to become, where you need to be, and the type of company you want to create. Like based on a million different factors. Like we're not all going to come out here. I think there's so much focus now on, you know, everybody's got to make $1 million. And I think the one thing we all do a bad job with at social media is, you know, again, I don't talk about a lot of our faults on there and this and that, things that go wrong, only because customers are watching it. And like, I don't want this person to give this person the impression that like, well, this shit's going wrong, but like, hey, by the way, hire us. Like, so like, and that's why I want to create a different page so I can talk a little more freely on stuff. But it's like, yeah, I just be honest with yourself. It's okay to be where you're at. It's okay to be small. It's okay if you never hire 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. It's okay if you never have 10 trucks. Like, dude, it's okay. You don't have to make like the average salary in America.
You get there, you're going to be more miserable than you were when you started your business.
It was like 30,000, then it was 50,000 a person. Dude, if you can go out there and crush it and make 50, 60,000, and whether it's 6 months or 12 months, dude, so maybe you don't get a yacht. Maybe you don't get a fucking $2 million house.
You can rent one though.
Yeah, you don't need any of that stuff. Social media has brainwashed people that the version of success and what people think it is and what it actually is. Like, I consider myself a success because at 40 years old, I know a lot of the things that went on later on in life, in teenage, in my early 20s. Dude, I was a wreck. I was a mess. And so if I look at where I am today and the person I am today to where I was then, like if I drop dead right now, dude, I consider myself a success. Now, if I live to be 50 or 60 and I'm still in the same exact boat, like right here, this same person, this same, well, now I consider myself a failure if that were the case. So, like, dude, you got to be willing to be, if you're going to be in this life, man, it's going to fall on you no matter what. If you're just starting out, you are your company. It's only going to go as far as you're willing to take it, man. You got to take accountability and responsibility and be honest with yourself. And don't spend money on dumb shit early on. Like, just stay away from it. Like, you know the guy who gets like 1-2 years of success and he goes and buys a car. Well, dude, that car is cool. And you know what? But that feeling is going to go away in about 30 to 60 days. And all you're left with is a depreciating piece of metal, unless it's something really rare, and a big ass payment that ain't going nowhere. Save the boats and the campers and the RVs. Like,
and then you don't want to give it up because you're invested in it. You know, even though you know it's hurting you, you're like, but I got to I got to keep it. I'm got it.
And then you don't want to give it up because now the neighbors or your friends are saying, "Oh, times must not be good. He's selling it all. Something must be bad."
Bit off more than you could chew. Yeah, some shit like that. I know. Dude, that's all good advice.
Yeah, dude, because the beginning in that journey when you're just starting out, some of the most fun I've had were those early years where it was just me and my brother, dude, and it felt like we were up against the world and we were trying to outwork everybody, out hustle everybody. But your motivations are going to change over the years. Like the first 10 years, dude, I want to be a monster. I want to be the best on the asphalt that anyone's ever seen, especially in this area. And dude, I went balls out. Like I'm still at that pace, but like I can coast a little here and there. Like, you learn more tempo. It's like Chris Paul mindset. I got the ball in my hands. I know when I got to go all out and when I can lay back a little bit. Like, dude, those were some of the most fun early on in building the company.
This is my first year realizing that I was a monster on the blacktop for at least 13, 15 years. In my mind, I still am. And I believe I still am. Like, there's times this summer where it was buck up, where we lost our crew lead. I had to go out, and it was like, the old Marv's got to come back for a bit. And it's harder. Believe me, it's harder. It's much harder now, but it can still be done. But the Blacktop Banter studio and office is right next to a jiu-jitsu studio. A couple weeks ago, Eli was like, "Hey, wrestling season's coming up. Let's go over and try jiu-jitsu out too." He's like, "Maybe it'd be a good fit for us." And I'm fitter, so I was like, "Oh, cool, sure, yeah, for sure." Dude, I am not the same person that I used to be in the physicality. My knees hurt so damn bad for the next week. I was like, bro, I told Eli, I was like, I would love to go with you, but we're going to have to stop at least a month or a month and a half before seal coat season starts, because there's no way I'm going to be able to heal. And if I have to go out into the field, I can't do it. But in my mind, dude, I was about to just straight up hoist Gracie in there, dude, and just be like, oh yeah. No, didn't happen. Eli literally just like out-youthed me within like 20 minutes. Yeah, like I had him, and then after a while, like I was getting up slower, and he knew it. I could see him start to grin, and I was like, "Damn, dude, I'm gonna have to fight him off of me." So, that's good advice. It's good advice. It's that advice you're talking about, right? With not having to measure up and not making stupid moves is a lot about what we talk about within the Blacktop Banter Success Group. We have guys that are coming in that don't have that, right? Sometimes they come in and they want that stuff. They want the car, they want a boat, they want all this stuff. And their business is the means to get it, right? However, if they get into it, start it. And sometimes the best thing you can do for somebody is let them do that, right? Yeah. And then navigate with them out of it is what we've found here. Sometimes all you have to do is mention it and say, "Hey, man, if you do that, you're not going to be able to acquire this piece of equipment that you want to generate more revenue when you could have just bought the car versus went and financed the car." And sometimes that makes sense, right? And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to do that." Most of the time, what I find is like, if you go that route and you're able to coach somebody along that route, once they get there, they're like, "I don't even want the car anymore," because they've tapped into some potential and strategy, and they're like, nope, I'm going to aim higher, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like, that's when shit gets really exciting, because they get tactical, and you're like, yes, we're creating more monsters, right? 2 monsters, 3 monsters, 4 monsters. And that's the type of people I want to be around, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that delayed gratification is a huge part of it. That, and the only other thing I would add is, dude, take care of your mind, take care of your body. You only get one. It doesn't get any easier as we get older. And if you still want to be somewhat useful, like, you're going to need a body that works and a mind that's in the right headspace. And it's like, I always talk like my sealer IQ and my mental toughness, dude, it's off the charts, but it comes from, everything that we've done and accomplished in places where you look back and you're like, I never thought we would do that. And people think, confidence comes from all the things we've physically done. And dude, all it really is just keeping promises to yourself. So when you say like, dude, no matter what happens, when I get up tomorrow and I walk out that door, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to be the best. You got to follow through on that.
Putting in the reps.
And if you put all those days together, dude, I've got 20 years of those days of going out there, and I didn't give a shit what was going to get in my way, dude. Like, the job was getting done. And like, that's what I do. I mean, my main role with Prestige is I try to keep the stress from going any past me to my brother with everything he's got going on. And I try to keep the stress off the guys, and it's not limiting their growth, dude. We're doing 3,000, 3,500 driveways a year. So splitting 2 teams, like, you're going to get 1,500 opportunities to prove yourself. Like, I don't want to make it any harder for anybody that's involved. So like,
you're going to get to those 10,000 hours of expertise pretty damn quick, boy.
You're clocking them either way. Yeah. So
and then that knowledge is just there. You've done the reps. The knowledge just ends up being there if you put in the reps. Like, it literally is put in the reps.
Yeah.
And everything else will come. Put in the reps. Right.
And that's what I love about working with some of these younger guys. And it's like, you forget half the shit So they're in that scenario and they're talking, they're asking these questions, and it pulls you back there. And you're like, oh my God, I remember going through this same thing. And you're like, dude, we were there. And it's like, I think that's the biggest thing. Social media, I think it's tough for these younger guys to watch us and to relate. But it's like, dude, we were you. A part of us is always going to be you. Like, you don't ever lose that part of you. It's always there. Whether it's like, dude, it's one of those things. Again, you don't have to have the 10 trucks to label yourself a success. If you're getting better every day and you're getting better every year and you're growing in the company's growth, dude, that's when you're happy. And you're freaking happy. Actually happy.
That's it. To me, that's it. Like, are you happy? Yeah. Okay, cool. You're successful then.
It's everything.
And it's tough nowadays, dude. It's tough nowadays to be happy. So if you can find that spot, you're in good shape. For myself and for Adam Piché with Prestige Sealcoating, this is Marvin. This is Blacktop Banter, where we speak asphalt. Peace. Hey everybody, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. And if you enjoy the podcast and what we've been bringing to the industry, you can support us through a one-time or recurring donation at blacktopbanter.com. There we have a support tab. You click that and choose your path from there. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please do us a favor and leave a review there for us as well. As always, we speak asphalt, and thanks for your support.